Hey, everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention The Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. Missing is available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mia Motion Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Missing by Mia Motion Zia, available on Amazon. Make sure your copy does not go missing. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a terrific up-and-coming actor from Dallas, Texas. He's in a new movie coming out soon called Preemptive Strike Beyond Sight. He's also been involved with The Place in Between, and he's been in Dallas, Texas for quite some time. He grew up Southern Baptist pastor's kid, just has a great story to tell, and he's got some great projects in the work, and just overall, the next up-and-coming major movie star. So look out, Hollywood. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful Dallas, Texas, deep in the heart of the wonderful state, the very, very multi-talented up-and-coming actor, Nicholas Andrew Rice. Nicholas, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, brother. You are good at that.
Well, I appreciate it. And you're good at what you do as well, too. And I can see that you've got a great future ahead of us. And you're from the Dallas area, and you have a very good background. You grew up in a Southern Baptist home. Your dad is as a pastor, and you lived, for quite some time. You have one movie under your belt called The Place in Between, and the upcoming movie we'll talk about called Preemptive Strike Beyond Sight. And you can tell us when it's going to be out, what's it about, when it's going to be available, and everything. And if you got some other works, you can talk about that. And before we get into everything, tell us how I first got started, Nicholas.
First got started probably about 3 years ago. I'm definitely a pastor's kid, and I'm a firm believer in Jesus. And I believe that 3 years ago, he said, go into acting. And I said, all right. And so I went
for acting.
yeah. It was a drastic change. I was in ministry. I was a worship leader. And so going from a ministry position into the entertainment industry was a kind of a cultural shock. But first time I got in front of the camera, I absolutely loved it and realized I should have been doing this a lot longer. And I can't really explain it other than, wow, this is my calling. This is awesome. And it's been a great journey since I came in. Like my first audition I went on, it was for a commercial print job for a Toyota Tundra. And usually whenever you start your career, you'll go on 15 auditions before you land one job.
Right.
I went on that audition. I got the part, and that was my first taste. And I just can't tell you how awesome it was. Like I literally got paid to play all day. It was just amazing. And so I think that was God just kind of giving me a taste. Like here, let me taste. Let me give you a taste so you can see how it is. And this is gonna be good. You're gonna have to work hard for it, but So he did, and I didn't land all of my jobs after that. But I want to say about a year and a half later, I landed my first movie. I did a few commercials here and there, and I got The Place in Between. The Place in Between it hasn't released yet. I think it's going to be releasing sometime this year. They've already got it almost down, like completely edited. And they're looking for a buyer right now, which means they're looking for a distribution deal to where it either go to theater or it'll go to streaming networks, depending on who wants to pick them up. But it's getting a lot of great attention, which is awesome. Now, during the lockdown, I was bored, so I published a book.
We're many of us bored. I mean, that's just a big thing.
Yeah. So I published my first book. I've been writing that for 5 years. I finished writing it. I found a publisher. He published it for me. So it's now on Amazon, called Overcoming the Silent Pride Within. It's just a regular self-help book. It's got a lot of good points in it, and it just teaches you how to live a confidently humble life. You can search it by the title, Overcoming the Silent Pride Within, or my full name, Nicholas Andrew Rice, should pop right up. And it's on Amazon right now on paperback and ebook. But that was my first finished writing product. And then I was like, you know what? I've got my movie idea. I think I need to put this down. And so I sat down and started writing a script. And I've had this idea for a new superhero for a while that hasn't been done before, but it has a familiarity of everything you've seen. So it'll have that draw of like, hey, I like superheroes and I like UFC and I like the military, but I've never seen it done this way. So it's got that familiar feel, but it doesn't, it hasn't been done before. And so everybody that I'm passionate about it. I love my movie. I love the story that we put down, and I've had a lot of people help me with it, which has been amazing. But the affirmation that I get from this is something that we have is good is whenever I give the script to somebody and I have no influence over them. And
that is something.
Yeah.
That is something too. And you talk about superheroes. Who are some of your favorite superheroes growing up? Like you talked about cartoons, animation, and movies. Who are some of your favorite superheroes?
Well, I've been told as long as I do my face and put on the right clothing, I actually look like Wolverine. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's a good movie. It's like my boys, my whole family watched all the Marvel movies, DC, and everything. It's just like, that is just sure to please. That's amazing series.
Yeah. I love Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, but I grew up on the old X-Men cartoon series that was on every Saturday morning. I'd wake up early to watch it, and Wolverine was always my favorite. I mean, who wouldn't want blades coming out of your fist? I mean, that's just a no-brainer,
Blades coming out of my fist. It's like I can only get these in my fingernails. That's it. It's like, this is how long it grows. That's it. I fail as a Wolverine.
Well, I mean, I've even had, I thought about this so much. And, when you have a vivid imagination, sometimes it translates into your dreams. And there was one night, several nights actually in my lifetime, I've actually dreamed of having blades coming out of my fist. And I remember in the dream, I could actually feel them coming out. It was quite weird. Waking up, I'm like, oh, it's just a dream. I was a little disappointed, but that was my ultimate goal when I first got into acting, was actually to replace Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. It was a very lofty goal, but I was like, no, I'm going to do it because I have his look, I have his facial structure, I have his build. I'm as tall as him. I can even sing like him, which is, that's something that doesn't really translate to Wolverine, but
I'm singing Wolverine. Why not?
Why not? That's what they have now. So why can't they just replace me or replace him with me, and we can just keep on going? So that really wasn't coming into fluidity. Hugh Jackman was around my age when he landed Wolverine. So I was like, maybe I can, maybe I can't. But what I can do is write my own character that's completely mine. And so that's what I did.
And of course, if you were to create your own superhero character, what would it be?
Well, the character that we've created, he has a new type of superpower, and I wrote it in such a way that his power is tied to his level of pride and level of humility. So the more prideful and arrogant, and obnoxious he is, the more he doesn't have access to his power. But the more humble and confident he is, and the people around him, the more humble he is, then no one can beat him. And so he doesn't realize he has his power until he goes into the octagon as a new UFC fighter. And, the first strike from the opponent comes in, and then his power activates. Wow. And what it does is it just slows everybody else around, slows it down around him, and he's moving in normal speed. And then there's these parts of the body that are highlighted of red and green. Red obviously being the knockout punch, and green being more of like a slow down punch, like a body shot or something like that. And so we have a trailer on it, so it kind of gives you a taste of it. And it came together really well. But every time I kind of say this concept, everybody's like, man, I really want to see the rest of this. Like, people commenting on the trailer, like, I want to see this movie. When's it coming out? And so we have I guess you can say, a dream schedule, which means we're going to do our best, and I believe we will secure full funding for this movie before March 2021. We have a communication with a production company down in Austin, Texas that can put up the first million. And then I have connections with other producer friends that as long as we secure the first million, they can bring in the next 6. We get that 7 million, we can start production in May.
Nice.
And
That's
then,
very nice.
yeah, once we get production, we only need about 20 days of shooting.
Mhm.
And then all of the fall will be post-production, editing, and all that stuff. And then January 2022 is when we start our marketing. We would shoot for a May 6th of next year release date.
And we're certainly looking forward to that as well too. And we'll talk about more about Nicholas Andrew Rice and his upcoming projects, along with his 2 movies and more. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Mosinzia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosinzia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. Missing by Mia Mosinzia, available on paperback and ebook on Amazon, has garnered great reviews and even loved by many Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Missing by Mia Mosinzia, available on Amazon, and get yours today before it goes missing. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Kimberley, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And if you like the Mike Wagner Show t-shirts, we have those available on Amazon. Just go to amazon.com/the Mike Wagner Show. Also check out Mia Motion's Zia's merchandise at Mia Motion Zia on Amazon. So check it out today. We're here with the very, very upcoming and very talented Nicholas Andrew Rice out of Dallas, Texas, on the Mike Wagner Show. We talked about his movie The Place in Between, and also we're going to get into Preemptive Strike, and also some I mean, you had amazing stories like your superheroes. You got an upcoming idea coming up, and I was going to ask you about some Ultimate Fighting, which is UFC. And before we talk about your films, who are some of your favorite UFC wrestlers and fighters growing up?
Probably my favorite one growing up, and this was actually not the card of UFC. It was a card of WEC, but it was MMA, but it was a pretty big card like the UFC whenever they were all starting out. His name was Miguel Torres. This guy was he was super long and lanky, but man, the dude was determined. He never disrespected his opponent. He was always, stomp faced whenever it comes to coming into the ring, and he was focused. I think he ended his career of 50-2.
Wow.
Yeah, it was incredible in his weight class. And I mean, no one wanted to fight him. No one wanted to go down to the ground with him. No one wanted to do strikes with him. He was just efficient at everything he did. And so I watched him a lot, and he was around whenever the California Kid was doing his thing. And, so I was a big fan of Miguel Torres just because of his, not just his attitude, but his efficiency and determination when it comes to his training and everything that he did in the ring and outside of the ring. He was a cool guy, but he was also great at what he did.
Well, speaking of great at what they do, who are some of your favorite actors, and who are some of your favorite actors and actresses growing up, and what are some of your favorite movies growing up?
I didn't realize this guy was one of my favorite actors until I got to know him later in life, because you realize man, I've seen this guy everywhere. What the heck? But his name is Glenn Morshower. And he's been in Transformers. He was in 24. He's currently on The Resident as a series reg. And he's actually now become my acting coach.
Wow.
He's really awesome. He lives here in town. He holds his own acting class, and he is my current acting coach. He's actually already committed to my project. I wrote him in as
Nice.
the antagonist, which is the bad guy. But I wrote it just for him because he's played a lot of general roles, a lot of authority roles. And so I wrote him in as a retired general who became a fight promoter in the UFC, who also leads a sex trafficking ring. And so
Oh
big,
my gosh, what a combination.
yeah, big high stakes in this movie, and he's the bad guy. And I don't think he's ever played this kind of bad guy. I think he's played some kind of bad guy in the past, but this will definitely top it. Like it's way up there. And he read the script, he liked it, and he even sent it out to some of his buddies. And so
Wow. Well, bring
yeah,
them on
yeah.
board. Bring some UFC guys in there too. And I can think of one UFC guy from Bismarck, Brock Lesnar. He'd be
Yeah.
great at any role. I'll tell you that. If you get him
I,
on, we'll definitely come out and watch you, Brock Lesnar.
I actually just thought about that because there's the big guy in the movie. He's the current UFC heavyweight champ, and I'm talking about in the movie, not not Brock Lesnar currently, but we actually need someone of his stature, someone who's big, tall, demeaning, and look down on you. He starts out as kind of like an anti-hero, and then he actually becomes a hero at the very end. So
Wow.
he actually has a good little story arc. I totally forgot about Brock Lesnar. I was actually going after The Rock. I wrote the character for The Rock, but The Rock doesn't necessarily do stuff unless he's the lead, and this character wouldn't be the lead in this movie. He would be a lead in the the sequel. So I actually got to talk to The Rock's agent. They're very nice, and
Very cool.
The Rock does have my script right now, so he doesn't do anything unless he likes the script. And so I was like, hey, can I just send you my script? He's like, yeah, send it over. And I was like, all right.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. And so right now, for those watching and listening to the Mike Wagner Show with Nicholas Andrew Rice, if you're big, you're tall. I mean, you're like really big, muscular, almost like Brock Lesnar or Rock
Or The Rock, yeah.
whoever as a UFC wrestler. Make sure you can get in touch with him. And how do they get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me. It's probably my Instagram and my Twitter. It's going to be at Nicholas Rice, NicholasRice. That's on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to get me on YouTube or TikTok, yes, I know I have a TikTok. It's okay. It's just my full name, Nicholas Andrew Rice, and you can probably find me by Nicholas Rice on Facebook as well.
We certainly will do that, and we'll talk more about Preemptive Strike Beyond Sight with actor Nicholas Andrew Rice here on the Mike Wagner Show. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Also brought to you by our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Me and Motion Zia. Make sure you check out his book Missing on Amazon and ebook. We'll be back with Nicholas Andrew Rice after this time out. We're back with Nicholas Andrew Rice here on the Mike Wagner Show, and he was in The Place in Between, and he was also in a couple of commercials, and just getting all kinds of experience. We talked about some of his love for UFC wrestling and a little bit of animation and superheroes and more. Well, speaking of superheroes, he's got a new movie out, and one of the big ones he's been talking about, Preemptive Strike Beyond Sight, and tell us more about that.
Man, Preemptive Strike Beyond Sight, it's a new type of superhero movie, and I've actually created a whole universe behind it. So if I had to give you a small synopsis, think Rocky IV with the Big Russian.
Oh yeah, that was one of my favorites. Yes.
think that, and then also add some superpowers in there. But it's in the UFC world instead of the boxing world, because I believe the UFC is not getting enough attention, to be honest with you.
I mean, who needs attention these days? It's like WWE, WWF already got a lot of attention. The XFL got a lot of attention, and I mean, the UFC is gonna need some love out there, and any other minor leagues like the MMA, whatever. It's like they can use some love right now. I mean, take advantage of
that's true. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, these UFC fighters are, yeah, absolutely. These UFC fighters, these MMA fighters, these are like some of the top athletes in the world. I'm actually because I'm the lead role in this movie, I'm actually being trained by an MMA gym here in Springtown, Texas, about 45 minutes away from me. But they're offering their services for free because they just want to be a part of the project. And these guys have 2 professionally trained fighters who train at the gym. They also train at the gym for their professional fights. Wow. Brother, I'm telling you, it is no joke. Like whenever I just went for a training session last week on Thursday, and all we did was work on little things like the little shoots, it's kind of evading and stuff like that. And we did that for a solid hour and a half. And then we started hitting the pads, and we only hit the pads for say 10 minutes. I thought my lungs were about to burst. Like it was. And I'm an in shape guy, but that's a totally different type of cardio and muscle exertion. It's awesome, but if you don't know what you're getting into, wow. It's crazy, and I do love it. But yeah, the movie is it's a small new type of superhero movie, but I am such a big believer in our story and how we've written it and how it's going to progress, that I believe it'll do as good or better than the first Avengers. The first Avengers grossed, I think, $1.5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe it'll do as good or better than them.
Mm.
So that's how much confidence I have in this story.
Hey, did you hear that, Avenger fans? We got some competition here. Rocky better get on board.
There you go. Hey, please. Yeah, I would love for him to get on board. Yeah, man, it's probably one of the best stories that I've ever written. I think more people are excited about the sequel, to be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
because there's probably about 4 that we're going to hit on in the first movie of actual superheroes, like people who have the superpowers. But there's a total of 7,
Uh-huh.
and these 7 superheroes, they get their powers from the 7 archangels. There's
Oh,
a total
wow.
of 7 archangels. And so the second movie will actually be based on the 7 archangels in the heavenly realms and in the cosmos, which has never been done before. No one's
Hmm.
really made just an amazing angelic movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'll be about God commissioning the 7 archangels to go down and anoint the new generation of heroes. And
Huh.
so yeah, it's got a whole, and the way we wrote the characters is like, if you wanted to take these characters and use them in the MCU, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they're written in such a way that the angelic beings exist outside of realm and time, so
Mm-hmm.
they can pluck these heroes out of their realm and stick them in another universe if they
Wow,
are needed
interesting.
in that universe. Yeah, so they're written in a way that, like, we can be used in literally any universe, any TV show, anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. So
So,
we're pretty excited about it.
so it almost sounds like time travel in a way too. That's been the big theme of time travel, 2021, and
Yeah,
going back, say 1990, or going ahead to 2058, or even going back to like 1969 or something, or
yeah.
maybe say 1864. I mean, it's
It
gotten
could
really
be.
popular.
Yeah, it's time. It's the angelic beings that exist outside of time and outside of realm, and so or universe, like they exist outside of our universe or any other alternate universe, if that makes any sense. And
Hmm.
so they have the ability to, go in and out of all these different types of time and universe.
Hmm. And who are the 7 archangels?
It's going to be hard to list those off without a list in front of me, but I do know the main 4. So the first one's going to be Gabriel. He's listed as like the steward slash messenger, and you see him a lot in the scriptures and in the Bible and stuff like that. And people, I don't know if you notice this, but anytime that they explain about the encounter of an archangel, they're always terrified.
Hmm.
And so the angel always has to say, "Please don't be afraid." Well, you can only imagine what they may have looked like, while they were terrified. And so we're going to have a lot of imagination going on there. So that's the first one. Michael, Archangel Michael, is the second one. He was known as the defender and the warrior. And then we have a guy named Uriel. And that might be a female. We haven't really figured that out yet. But that one was basically had physical and emotional strength. And then we have another one. I think it was Raphael. That one, or Raguel, I can't remember. That one has the ability to communicate with the animal kingdom.
Huh.
And so not only communicate, but we're going to kind of write it into where they have the ability to communicate and I guess you could say
Hmm.
guide them and kind of tell them where to go, what to do, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And the only one that we really don't have a grasp of how we're going to do it, because I didn't write him in the first movie, it'll be in the sequel, is the 7th archangel is the angel of death. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
we're like, how are we going to do that as a superpower? Haven't really figured that one out yet. But
or just like in one of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, Thanos would just go like this, and that's
yeah,
the end right there. It's like maybe he can go like this, or
yeah. It'll
or
be
maybe hit like
something.
his cell phone button or something like that. So remote control.
I would think he would have some kind of like control, not just over death, but he would have control over the physicality of someone around him. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like if he's around a regular human being who doesn't have superpowers, and maybe he can touch him and just put him to sleep or something like that. So we're still kind of playing with it to see exactly how that would look as a superpower to a human or an anointed hero on
Hmm.
the earth. So we're still playing with that one.
That's so amazing. I was thinking about Raphael being the animal guide. I can think of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You had Raphael, Michelangelo, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
other two just guiding on pizza. It's like pizza, and then they just go to work.
Yeah, and I've already got the third movie kind of thought out. These seven people have now come together and they form together something called a strike force. And so they will be the new, because in the first movie there's a Bravo SEAL squad
Mhm.
that kind of starts out the movie, and they will be like the new type of squad that the government's using to do these rescue missions. And
Uh-huh.
so, and of course, there's going to be a lot of turmoil to really kind of hit on the whole pride and humility thing, and if one team member loses their superpower because they're being too prideful, then that's something the whole team has to deal with, type of thing. So
Mhm.
it's going to be really good. And then after the third movie, it'll move into a TV show.
Wow, that is amazing. Sounds like you got this all lined up
Yeah,
and really good. And where can we find Preemptive Strike, Beyond Sight, and the place in between, and your other works? Where can we find those?
you can
For
find me on IMDb. Just look me up, Nicholas Andrew Rice, and you can see all their stats and everything. But if you want to see the trailer for Preemptive Strike, you can find that on YouTube. Just search Preemptive Strike trailer or Preemptive Strike Beyond Sight, and it should pop right up. The great thing about that trailer, we made it to kind of do like the Deadpool theory. And so when Deadpool was Ryan Reynolds was really wanting Deadpool to be made. They did
Mhm.
some test footage, but Sony still wasn't sure if they wanted to make Deadpool. And so they made the test footage. It came out really well. They still weren't sure. Someone leaked the footage. The footage got an overwhelming positive response from all the fans that they had a green light to make Deadpool in 24 hours.
Wow.
And so we're kind of taking that perspective with our trailer. So it's a new movie, so it doesn't have anything else tied to it. So the theme and the name and everything is all completely brand new. But it does have about 10,000 views.
Wow.
And here's where it gets great. I don't know if you know anything about YouTube, but usually there's always one guy that gives it a thumbs down. Like there's always that
Oh
one
yeah, and
person.
you got the
You know,
trolls too, and say,
yeah,
you know what? Hey, look, somebody online buy my product, or they'll spam you or
yeah.
try to. Yeah, I mean, you know how that goes. I don't go into full
Absolutely,
details. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, there's absolutely no trolls on it. Everybody who's commented it says something to the nature of, "When does this movie come out? I want to see this movie." And it's got 0 dislikes and almost 250 likes. Like it's got nothing but positive on it, which is amazing. So we definitely have a fraction of what the whole Deadpool perspective is. But yeah, we don't know if it's going to be rated R yet because it is a UFC movie and it's got a military aspect. But we're kind of trying to determine. We want to go after like every demographic. So if we make it PG-13, that means more people will be able to view
Mhm.
it.
Or a somewhat PG-13, maybe like a between a PG-13 and an R. And I'm sure
Yeah,
somebody in Hollywood will come up with it too. It's like you can still come, but feel free to get some popcorn if you like some of the scenes. So
yeah, right.
and we're here with actor Nicholas Andrew Rice, Preemptive Strike, Beyond Sight, and the place in between on the Mike Wagner Show. And just a few more things here. We'd love to have back on in 2021 and beyond. You've been absolutely great. What else can we expect from you in this year?
Well, this year is going to be packed full of new opportunities. And so I'm definitely auditioning for a lot of big TV shows, hoping to get cast in one of those. And so we'll see. I've auditioned 3 times so far for Walker, the new Walker TV show.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully I get cast in that one pretty soon because that's local here to Texas. And then, it just depends, because of everything going on. So as soon as everything calms down,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that the opportunity will just skyrocket. But I just landed a commercial. I'll be doing a big
Nice.
commercial for Miracle Ear next week
What?
in Austin, Texas.
What?
Miracle Ear.
What? What?
Yeah.
Miracle? What?
Miracle Ear or something? And so evidently I've got a diverse look. And so they cast me with, they wanted a biracial couple. And so one of my friends, she's black and she's amazing. She's booking everything right now. So my agent said, "Hey, go audition with her. She might rub off on you." And I was like, "Okay." And so first thing I did with her, I booked it, which is amazing. And which was my first booking of the year, which I'm very thankful for.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah, yeah. And then everything's going pretty smooth with the project, but most of my time right now is full time producing my project. And so I've talked to several stars. I've already got a tactical officer attached to it. He's the tactical advisor. He's a tactical advisor on the TV show SWAT.
Hmm.
And he's actually ex-SWAT, like real SWAT.
Oh, wow.
And he's also ex-Navy. His name is Otis Gallup. And so I told him about the project. He read the script, and he read it in a record time. Like he read it in like 3 hours. But he called me back and said, "Yeah, man, sounds good. There's some technical things I would want to tweak when it comes to the Navy SEAL team operating, but I love it. Let's do it." And I was like, "Okay." And so I sent him an LOI, which is a letter of intent, and he's now on board with the project. So
very nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got some great stuff on board. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career, Nicholas?
My big man, that's a broad question. I've had a lot of influences when it comes to my acting career, but if I had to say someone who really gave me the push, his name is Aaron Stevenson. Him and I are both firm believers in Jesus, and we've actually traveled together in ministry. And I remember struggling going into acting because I'm like, what if I had to play the villain? Like, what if I had to play the worst of the worst? And the worst villain I could think of was the Joker. Like, if you know how the Joker was written, he was written to be bad. Like, you're laughing at his jokes, but you shouldn't be laughing at his jokes. Like, it's one of those, the whole, I'm gonna make this pistol disappear. It's gone because I just stabbed you in the eye with it.
Or so, like they tell you in riddles as well too. It makes me think of the old Joker from the 60s with Adam West and or that's the one I get. I think it was at Cesar Romero and quite a few others. That's a Joker I think of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I thought of this bad villain, and I was like, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I, because I was still having an issue of separating self from character. And so what my friend said, he's the kind of guy that, like, he doesn't talk a lot, but when he talks, you shut up and listen. He's just that kind of guy. He's very wise. And he said, "Nick, I believe because of your relationship with Jesus, you'll be able to do it easier than most other people." And because he said that, I was like, sold. Let's do this. So, and I've played bad guys. It's for some reason, I think I've got a arrogant look. I don't know.
A Hugh Jackman look or a Chuck Norris look or something. I mean, you look like a nice guy to me.
I appreciate that. I've actually been told that I look like Chuck Norris when I smile and have a beard. But I'm like, you know what, whatever works in my favor. But no, my first short film that I did, I just got cast as an extra, but they ended up bumping me to principal. And I actually ended up becoming the leader of the squad who was hunting these people that were living in the woods, and we ended up massacring all of them.
Oh my goodness.
And so I was like, I guess I'm the bad guy. All right. So that was interesting. I would much rather play the good guy. That's always, a dream of somebody. But if someone wanted to cast me as a bad guy, I can do that just as well.
So, and of course, some people start off as nice guys and become evil characters. Actually, do really well. Like Vincent Price, he was just like a really sweet guy, quiet artist and everything. But his nature of being like, good evening, my friends. Like the evil sinisters. It's like, he's been typecast, but makes a lot of money off of it. It's like, 6-7 figures? My goodness.
Oh yeah. Probably one of my favorite guys is Lex Luthor from Smallville. His Michael Rosenbaum. He played a great Lex Luthor, and he's played that's like one of the baddest of the bad characters. And you get to meet him, or if you listen to his podcast, he's like such a cool guy. Not a bad character at all, which is, I loved seeing that. Like, if they're playing like the worst guys on camera, you wonder how they are in person.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard of other people on camera. Like there's a guy that plays a really arrogant doctor on The Resident. And I asked somebody on that set, and I was like, "Hey, how's this guy?" Cause I'm a really big fan of him. He's like, "He's difficult to work with."
Oh no.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I sometimes I always see, like, if they're a bad character on screen, they are usually the opposite in real life, but sometimes they're the same in real life. So
right. And of course makes sense too with a good character on screen, but having questionable personality in real life too. But I can see where you're coming from too. And and of course, speaking of all these situations and whatever else and talking to people, what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Honestly, if you're wanting to get into the industry, just do it. Like, if you have a drive for it, then seek out a local agent. If you're wanting to go to an agency, do not pay them. They get paid off your work. The only thing you'd have to pay for up front is headshots. So just go out and do it. Like I tell people all the time, if you want to write something, sit down and write it. everybody's got a lot of time right now.
Oh, exactly. The pandemic. It's like look at me and look at you, look at everybody. It's like anybody can do a podcast or do a Zoom or have like a concert, or whatever it is. It's like, oh, they got plenty of time on their hands, or play TikTok or play with their phones or something. It's like,
there's so much downtime that you have, and you just have to kind of take that mental switch and just sit down and do it. I remember when I started sitting down and write my script, I had to literally make the choice to not watch any kind of Netflix or any kind of streaming service and just sit down and concentrate. And I'm telling you, it was kind of freeing. It took a lot of work, and my first draft of my script was absolutely atrocious. It was bad. But while I was writing it, I had my co-writer. I reached out to her first, and I said, "Hey, can you take a look at this and just tell me what you think needs to change?" She looked at it. She made her suggestions. I made all her changes. And then while I was making those changes, a WGA writer came into my workplace. And if you don't know what WGA means, it's Writers Guild of America. It's the union for writers in the industry. And he's got an award-winning movie called Music Within that he wrote, and he's still making money off of. And he also teaches at the local conservatory here in Dallas, a writing class. And so he has these consulting services that you can hire him for. And so I hired him, and we hit it off. And my first draft I sent him, he ripped that thing to shreds. Like it was note on note on note on note, because I didn't know what I was doing. So when it comes to formatting, when it comes to dialogue and all this other stuff, he really, really taught me a lot. I think I invested about $1,200 in that script.
Wow.
So now we have 20 rewrites. We're on our 20th version right now. And he even says, "Nick, your script reads way quicker now," which is awesome. And I'm like, great. He's like, "There's some little things that need to change here and there, but those are easy fixes." And I'm like, yeah, dude, I totally understand. But he's like, the story, the characters, everything's awesome. And I love it. And that's the only reason why he got on board, because he liked the story. So,
and that's very amazing too. And once again, actor Nicholas Andrew Rice of Preemptive Strike, Beyond Sight, and The Place Between, and Mike Wagner Show. A very big thank you for your time, Nicholas. You've been absolutely amazing. God bless you. Have you on. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date, and love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And before we go, once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, where can people check out your works?
Yeah, my upcoming project is definitely Preemptive Strike Beyond Sight. If you can go to YouTube, you can just search Preemptive Strike Beyond Sight trailer, or just Preemptive Strike trailer. Should pop right up. Give it a view. Give it a thumbs up. Help us out that way. But also, if you want to contact me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Nicholas Rice, or TikTok and YouTube, Nicholas Andrew Rice. And then if you want to go to my website, it's just nicholasandrewrice.com.
That's fantastic. Once again, Nicholas, a very big thank you for your time on the Mike Wagner Show. It's been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And don't forget to keep in touch, and maybe you can bring a few superheroes with you as well too, and talk more, maybe a little cage wrestling at the same time.
I love it. It sounds good, brother. I look forward to it.